Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Brawley City Council meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. This is our special meeting agenda this Thursday, August 22nd, here at 4 p.m., our City Council chambers. And if we can get the roll call, please.
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
Very good. And if we can stand for the invocation, Councilmember Hamby.
All right, welcome. Let's pray. Almighty God and gracious Heavenly Father, we're grateful to you once again to have this opportunity to guide our city. I ask that you would watch over our proceedings here today, help us to make wise decisions. Please keep our town safe. Watch over our law enforcement, our safety personnel. Thank you for each employee that works for the city of Brawley. And we ask that you would help each one of us to give everything that we can help our city. For your blessings, thank you for our freedoms. And amen.
Amen. Mayor Pro Tem can lead us in the pledge.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good. Thank you, Councilmember Hamby and Mayor Pro Tem Howdigi. Welcome. Go to the approval of the agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Seeing none opposed, move to the first item on the agenda. Item 1, public appearances and comments. This is not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any items that are not appearing on the agenda, and that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone, so please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals, make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Would anyone like to step up at this time? And I have you on the agenda, Mr. Mayor, so just stand by one second. Anybody else, members of the public? Excellent. Seeing none. Mr. Mayor, right at the top at A, we'll have you come on up.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council. My name is Robert Amparano. I am the mayor for the City of Imperial, and I'm here on behalf of the 9/11 Stair Climb Memorial Committee. And so every year, there is an event that happens here in the Valley, and it's a valley-wide event held at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds, which actually has a new name. Some of my friends and committee members just showed up.
Welcome.
They're from El Centro.
Oh, you can.
So we have this event every year, and it's a stair climb to honor the fallen firefighters and first responders from 9/11. So before I get into this any farther, we put together a little video, and what we'll do is I'll show you guys the video, and then we can go into a little bit of the background and questions and all that. So please bear with me. Hello, my name is Robert Amparano, Mayor for the City of Imperial. I want to invite you to come join me in the Valley's Heroes for the 2019 Imperial Valley 9/11 Memorial Event and Stair Climb. Here, we will honor those who sacrificed themselves on that fateful day on September 11, 2001, by having each participant climb or walk while carrying the name and photo of a fallen hero to symbolically complete their climb. This event benefits several programs, such as the Fire Department of New York City's Counseling Services Unit and the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, which supports the families of our nation's fallen firefighters. So bring the entire family and join us on Saturday, September 7th, 2019. The event will be held at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds at 6:30 p.m. Come enjoy the great food, entertainment, displays, and support a great cause. You can pre-register on the link provided at the end of this video. Lastly, as mayor of the City of Imperial, I would like to challenge all elected officials to come participate in this event with me. On behalf of my friends, all right, so you see that?
We've been called out.
I didn't recognize you with the sunglasses.
You know what? We had to do the sunglasses because it was really early in the morning. And I don't know if you noticed me. I really wasn't sweating, but my coworkers here, counterparts on this committee, they were sweating because they were in the turnouts doing this exercise, and they just kept going, keep climbing. We'll tell you when to stop. But yes, and this is a challenge, and actually I'm challenging you guys in this, your council as elected officials. I know that in the audience there is also other elected officials, like from the Brawley Unified School District. I know there's some out here, and I know there's some others. The way this started with me was last year I did show up to this event, and I had a conversation with somebody from the media. Do you recall who that was? So we had a conversation, and he says, "Where's everybody else?" I was like, "Well, it's just me." So he challenged me. I said, "I'll take your challenge," and here we are today. Well, I was asked to join this committee. In the past, this event was done through a single agency. Last year was Westmoreland. Other years has been El Centro, Brawley, and so on and so on. So, we decided this year as a committee to bring all Valley agencies together into one and make it one big event. Since this is the 7th year, so we want to make it the biggest and the best that's ever happened. But going back to that is, they said, well, you know what, since you're the only elected, what if you make a video and challenge other elected officials throughout Imperial County? I said, hey, that's a great idea. And here we are today. As of this morning, we were up to 84 pre-registered participants, and what we're looking to get is 343 participants, which is the number of fallen firefighters. People ask us, maybe, what if I can't climb stairs? You don't have to climb stairs. And we thought about this because not everybody can. We're going to open up the track, and you can walk laps around the track. It's at your own pace. It's not a race. And what this is made to do is to honor that fallen firefighter that you're representing. So nobody says that you have to do 4 laps, 5 laps, 10 laps. You do what you feel is right to honor that person in that you have. We will be having vendors. There'll be food, as you see on the flyer. Because it is an outside event, it is a big event. There will be, beverages sold, both regular beverages and adult beverages. We will also be having a fireworks display. We will be having there was a donation given to us, and we will be have a big fireworks display for this event. So we're hoping that this is the biggest. As of today, once again, City of El Centro, I want to say they're up to about 12 participants. City of Imperial yesterday was up to 9. I know we have some from Calexico that's already signed up. We know Calapat signed up. We have electeds and staff members from ICTC that have signed up, Hopeville, and we're still missing some from Brawley.
How many from Brawley?
Right now, I don't think there's any.
I nominate Donnie.
I'd second that. As of yesterday, I also presented to the Fair Board. The Fair Board now is up to 6. So the Fair Board has 6 participants on their team. There is a pre-registration. Pre-registration is $25 if you do it before the 24th. You'll get your shirt when you show up, and if you pre-register, one of our sponsors is Humble Farmer. And so as a gesture to say, you know what, thank you for pre-registering, you'll get a nice little coupon. You go to their booth and you get one of their signature drinks.
Recovery drinks?
Yes.
Recovery drink.
But you have to be 21 years or older for that. We will be having raffles throughout the day. There'll be 50-50 tickets. And this is an all-day event. There is, I don't know if you noticed in the video, we do have some of your staff members that did participate in the video. So we do take part in that, and we appreciate that the City of Brawley helped us with that. I know that we will be having your explorers assist us and volunteer with the event, as well as the local cadets from IVC will be there volunteering, and the local Boy Scouts within Imperial County will also be volunteering. So there's a lot of agencies, a lot of departments, and a lot of groups helping with this event, because it is a valley-wide, and we want to make sure that everybody participates and is represented. Now, this is not just a adult event. This is also available for kids. Kids can also participate. So it doesn't say, you have to be this age. I have a 7-year-old. She's going to be climbing too with me. So she's going to be my team member. She'll probably win. But, we want it to be a family event where you can go and enjoy the evening in Imperial Valley at our local fairgrounds for a great event. So with that, if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Question? No, wonderful event. Can't believe it's already been 7 years. But,
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that. And I think we've been noticed. I assume I might have to say something here publicly. So it's been a long time since I've been pursued, I should say. But I'm certainly, I have pretty good confirmation I will be here
Great.
on that particular date. That's kind of been my challenge in the past year or so. Based on that, look for my registration.
Great, thank you.
On this. Now, is there any mayoral challenge? You said it's not a race.
It's
but-
not a race.
Okay.
And I say
He
that's
wants
not
the
a race
challenge.
because I know I'm going to have to go do my laps and then go back and help with the event and, running
Aha.
it. But I'm going to do my 5 laps up and down the stairs. If I'm going to be able to walk later, I have no clue, but I'm
Yeah.
going to do my 5.
Actually, Donnie wanted to challenge you on those 5 laps.
No, he's going to win. He's going to win. I think that even as a city, it's something that we can do. City of Imperial did that, and City of El Centro is using it as part of their wellness. They're getting wellness credits, so they really looked into it and said, you know what, we're going to challenge them, and they were trying to get 20 participants out of the City of El Centro. So, and this is, like I said, opened up to anybody in the general public. You don't have to be first responders. You don't have to be public safety or anything like that. Anybody can go. So please join us and help us and make this a great event and help us reach that goal. Thank you very much. And if there is no other questions, perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that very much. Yep. Looking forward to that. We don't have any other, your partners in crime? No? Okay. Very true. All right, very good. We have another appearance here. Looks like we have item 1B, which will be the introduction of Dr. Richard, and I hope I get this right, Rundhaug, our Brawley Elementary School District Superintendent, and I know we have also an adjoining elected official from the school.
Your mic's cutting out. You want to switch? Maybe that'll.
We can try. Looks like it's holding serve now.
Could be simple. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I want to start off just by stating I believe very strongly in the idea of cooperation between government bodies. It does remind me of a story of a gentleman who was pulled over, and when he got pulled over, he immediately said to the policeman who pulled him over, he said, that snowplow kept pressing on me, and I just kept having to go faster to get out of his way. And the police officer said, yeah, I know, that was my brother-in-law. So it just kind of illustrates the value of government entities working together. Not that Chief Sawyer would want anything like that to happen at all, but I will share with you that in my career, the opportunity to work with government entities has been great. In one city, we did an after-school program, and that worked out really well, and we shared school district land and to help create additional park space. In another school district I work at, we created a soccer field that we worked on together. Our varsity boys played on it, and then it created space for the community in the on Saturdays and so forth. So that is something that I believed in. Another case, we actually built a community college building on K-12 property. There's very few examples of that in the country. But that led to the school district being able to have the highest degree or the highest percentage of students that graduated from high school with an associate's degree because the community college was right there on our campus. So I believe that in cooperative efforts, we can do amazing things. So often we have some common purpose, and the more that we cooperate, the more we get done, and that is something that I believe in very strongly. I've had a great opportunity to visit with Ms. Moore. We've had a pleasant exchange. Have been able to meet with Chief Sawyer and Mr. York. Found out Mr. York is my neighbor, which was great. So So that was good to find out. So I'm very happy to be here. And I was also very happy to see the offerings at Lion Center Pool. I am a swimmer, so I love to swim, and I've used it a lot so far, and that was quite a it was very good to see that. So, anyways, I just want to say on a personal note how pleased I am to be in this town, and it's a great experience to be here. I went to college in Orange County, and my parents lived in Yuma at the time, so I drove through Brawley all the time, never thinking that I would end up here as the school superintendent. So I've got a long history, at least, of being aware of Brawley and so forth, and I'm just very glad to be here, and I look forward to cooperating as much as possible with the city in efforts with the school district. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. No, and I, as officially as we can, we welcome you. I think it's fantastic that spending a little bit of time in your day to come introduce yourself to us. So we're obviously very proud of our ongoing working, not only partnership, but our belief as a council of whatever we can do to support. You have been spotted at the pool, actually, by me. I was given a heads up that might have another official out there, but brave enough to swim in, what is it, approximately about 90-degree water right now this time of year. So, but it's a little warm, but great to see you out there. And my council, any other comments?
I want to welcome you here. Thank you for putting Brawley on your list and coming and working here. Look forward to many great things from the school district. And I'm your neighbor too, and so I just want to warn you about Mr. York. You can't set off any illegal fireworks in our neighborhood because he'll be after you.
Well, I grew up on a farm, and we used to put diesel to kill weeds, and I know I can't use diesel to kill my weeds.
No, that's out of the question.
Do it at night.
Unless you borrow from Mike.
Just welcome to Brawley.
Thank you.
And I look forward to working with you. We do work closely with the schools, and I have a granddaughter in the elementary school and a grandson in the high school, so there's always that close connection.
Absolutely. Yes.
Congratulations on your new assignment and welcome to Brawley. We're here to certainly listen to any concerns you may have and, certainly be part of the community. So congratulations on your new role, and I'm glad that you have some background in Brawley. That to me makes a big difference because, this is a very unique environment Imperial County is. So congratulations and best of luck there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I've had the opportunity to actually talk with Mr. Brunhog. Brunhog, did I get it right?
I'll show you. I'll tell you how to pronounce it. It's as if you wanted to know how something got ruined. So you would ask the question, "It got ruined how?" Ruined, and then you just put a G on the end. So it's
Okay.
Ruindhaug.
Ruindhaug.
Yes.
So we had an opportunity to have a pleasant conversation about how he ended up here in Brawley, and so I also would like to welcome you again and look forward to working with you. And I also have grandkids in the school system, so we'll be in touch and make sure that we work together in the community.
Excellent. Well,
Welcome.
thank you very much for the invitation to be here, and likewise, we'll look forward to working together, folks.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very good, and we'll have one more presentation, 1C, which will be introduction of the Chief Water Treatment Plant Operator, Ricardo Arguilas, Assistant Streets and Utilities Supervisor, Bobby Limon, Dispatcher Ruben Villarreal. I don't want to kind of give everyone's introduction, so I think Guillermo's going to help with that, and our Lambs driver and clerk, Ruben Rivera.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ricardo Arguelles. He's graduated from college unit. Hello?
That's a little better, right?
Check. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe if you don't touch it, maybe.
Maybe
it
if
might
you
be
don't
better.
say anything. I don't know.
No, because he's holding the mic. Maybe when he holds it.
I make the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I was saying that
Okay,
Mr.
Guillermo.
Reyes
Okay, let's go. Sorry about that.
Okay.
graduated from Brawley High School in 2004. Then he graduated from IBC in 2017 with an Associate of Science degree in Water Treatment Technology with emphasis on wastewater treatment. Currently, he's studying and pursuing his business administration degree in the same college. He has been working for the city for about 7 years. He started as a volunteer, and later on, he was as an operator in training in 2012. And then he obtained a part-time position at the wastewater treatment plant on April of 2013. He obtained a full-time position as a laboratory analyst 1 in 2014. In 2015, he was promoted as a water treatment plant operator and served for about 4 years in this position until he was promoted as an assistant chief of the water treatment plant. And in August 1st, he was promoted as a chief of the water treatment plant. Additionally, he holds different licenses like Class A driver license, Laboratory Analyst 1, Collection System Maintenance 1, Water Distribution Operator 2, Wastewater Treatment Plant Operator 5, Water Treatment Plant Operator 4, and recently he passed the examination, which is very difficult for the operator number 5. So he passes all the top certifications for a water operator in wastewater. Please welcome Mr. Ricardo Reyes. He's very talented, and I'm happy that we can count on him at the water plant as a chief.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and City Council. I want to thank you all for this opportunity, and I want to make a commitment to the City of Brawley and city residents to keep on producing high-quality water at the most cost-efficient cost. And I just want to let you know that I've been very happy to work for the city for over 7 years, and I was lucky enough to work in 2 different the divisions in the wastewater field as well as in the water field. And I had the opportunity of meeting a lot of people that has encouraged me and mentored me to get to this point. Thank you.
Congratulations, and I'll defer because I'm apparently need to drink some water, clean water. I'll open up to council, though. I think this is a great success story for us.
Yeah, congratulations on your promotion. It's good to know that you've been with us for that long, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Look forward to having you there. And you've been there a while, so you know the job. And water's very, very important. Everybody, they don't think much about it until something happens. But it's a very, very important part of the city operation. And look forward to having you there and working on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on the new role. And really what I want to impress on people is that this job is very important. It's one of those things that is just quietly expected. You don't think about it until it becomes a problem for you. And, you know, one thing that we do well is water delivery and treating wastewater. We do a lot of things well, but those are things that people expect and they don't really think about, right? And so I do want to recognize the fact that you've worked really hard over the years, not just here in the city of Brawley, but, you know, starting at IBC and promoting yourself, advancing yourself, and you mentioned it in your comments, and working with people that mentored you. And I think that's so important. We sometimes forget that the people around us are the ones that make us strong and help us learn and get, you know, past things. So you didn't learn the job doing it yourself. You learned it by working with people. And that is, I thank you very much for recognizing that, because we have great people that work here in the city of Brawley. I truly appreciate that. But I also want to recognize your own strength, because over the years you've advanced yourself. You've gotten the certifications that you've needed, all of the things, all the achievements that you've had are not by anyone else's measure. That's you. You know, so congratulations to you, to your family on this new role. And like I said, treating water may not be the quote-unquote sexiest job, right? Because people don't think like, oh, you know, you're an airline pilot, you're this, you're that. But you know what? I'll tell you what. People expect clean water. They expect it when they turn on the faucet, and, you know, they expect that what they're drinking and they're bathing with and washing their dishes with is safe for their family and for themselves, and you're doing that job. So congratulations. And I know it's a little long-winded, but I really do think the job's important, and what you've accomplished is congratulations, and I wish you the best.
I also want to congratulate you, and I think George covered a lot of areas that it is a critical position, and we depend, the whole community and all of us here, citizens depend on a good quality water, and so you understand the importance of that job, and I think that you've shown a lot of strength and dedication and improving your own capabilities by pursuing your education and achieving these certificates. So we're real proud to have you on board with us, and congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you. Fantastic. Congratulations, Ricardo. And I'll leave with this, and that's to begin where you did, as George covered, but really in essence coming in from literally entry level, because you wanted to, as a volunteer to chief. We're proud of obviously all of our chiefs and all our department heads. That's what really makes the city go round. We as council, we're just here to kind of do really a small part of the job. It's the work that you and the team do on a day in and day out basis. And I'll also say, the city doesn't sleep. It's operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including Christmas, holidays, etc. So really appreciate what you've accomplished. I think it's great leadership. Look forward to seeing you at career days. I'm hoping our school official will make sure. I know the invite's always there, but you got to get out and get back to the community and share with some of our youth of what you've been able to do. So great example. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You bet. You bet.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Robert Limon. We all know him as Bobby. He has worked for the City of Brawley for over 20 years in the Division of Streets and Utilities as a utility leadman, providing guidance to the crew. Bobby holds D4 and T2 certifications. He frequently works after hours and on weekends. He's very professional and always enjoys to help others. He's very positive. He has a very good attitude and keeps good humor sense. He also enjoys to ride his bicycle throughout the city. He recently was promoted as an assistant supervisor for streets and utilities maintenance. Please welcome to Mr. Bobby Limon as the new assistant supervisor for the streets and utilities.
Hello, everyone. Of course, my name is Bobby Limon. I worked for the City of Brawley for 23 years, and I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me to be the Assistant Streets and Utilities Supervisor. And I've lived here in Brawley my entire life, and just look forward to continue to serve our community in the Brawley. I started as a temporary when I started working, and then I became a Utility 1. And then we were informed that we needed to start getting our certifications and license. And I said, well, the only way you got to do that, we have to go to IBC, right? And so I ended up getting my certification. Well, the thing was, the hardest part for me was I never really knew algebra, but I worked at it before when they let us know. I started working at it in the summer, just studying and studying and studying. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to get this, right? Until one day it finally clicked. And it was like night and day. Mm-hmm. And that's how I finally said, man, this is really easy. And, I got passed my class and state the the Distribution 1 exam. I passed it the first time. The Distribution 2, I passed it, the 3, and then the 4. And when you come to the 4, when you get to the 4 and 5, it's really, really difficult. They give you some questions that takes like 5 minutes to get the formula to answer these questions, and it makes you think. But I'm just so appreciative of that. And I was able, with all this learning, able to teach our my co-workers, the math and I told them, if you guys have any issues and problems with the math or the thing, talk to me. And I would give them classes during break and stuff and show them on the board how to do it. And I really enjoyed that, and just continue to enjoy, as I say, to serve the city and the community, and thank you for that opportunity. And answer any questions if you guys have any.
Bobby, we're going to ask you to just stand there if we can, and I hope the public understands how important this is to us, but just hearing those stories and taking the time to hear that is to me, gives me everything. It kind of reminds me of why we as just citizens put ourselves out there and even run for an elected position. But it's to be teamed up with folks like you, and again, reiterating a little bit of what we just said, but the work you do and the example you set in the workplace and with us as a city, it resonates all around, and it's what allows us to really be here and do what we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So just hearing that, and by the way, algebra isn't easy, as you just said.
I didn't know it, you know, you don't know it, it's hard.
It is. Yeah, when you don't know it, no.
And there's many adults and many of us up here that would probably benefit from your class, actually, if you had the opportunity to do that. So I just think it's just, again, it's another fantastic story, and congratulations. And certainly, you've been here 23 years. We hope it keeps going. I know you ride your bike. There's no better way to evaluate the streets of Brawley than to ride a bike, correct? So I'll raise my hand on that. So, Council?
Bobby, thank you for sticking with us for so long, and congratulations on this step up. And Donnie already said what I was going to say, that, riding your bike, you get to see, close up if it's alligatoring or, what the problem is with the streets. And also, there's a water break. You guys are on top of it. You've got, on the one hand, delivery of the water, but when you've got aging infrastructure, there's always something to do. And
Correct. That is true.
I've seen you out on the streets and on the sidewalks working, and I really appreciate what you do, as well as your attitude of gratitude, and pretty much always have a smile on your face even when things are falling down around you. So thanks again for sticking with us, and I hope you'll be here as long as I am.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bobby. Yeah, you see me out there. I'm
Correct,
always
sir.
coming
Yes, I
around,
have.
talking to you guys and
Yes.
seeing what's going on, trying not to bother everybody, but sometimes I think I do anyway. Algebra never clicked for me, even in high school. It was a real problem. Math is not my forte, but appreciate you being there and learning all of that, and aspiring to the job, and achieving the levels that you have, and helping us out here in the city of Brawley. And I see you guys out there all the time, so I know it doesn't matter rain, shine, hot weather or cold weather, you guys are always out there doing the job. So appreciate the dedication and the time that you spent here with the city, and look forward to many more years of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Bobby. Not just on this role, but everything you've done. I love hearing people's stories. I always, because everybody has a story of how they started, what they're doing, and how they achieved it. And you even shared something personal, that you struggled with it. You struggled with something that is, we all do. We all struggle somehow. But it's your story of making sure that you kept going, man. And that is something to say about you personally, and it's your upbringing too. And so that's fantastic. But I want to just congratulate you and thank you for the work that you're doing. You get to view the city from a resident's perspective. You get to see it from an employee's perspective. Because you've lived here all of your life.
Correct.
And so I think that's amazing, man. You've been able to give back, and you're working hard and providing something and talent to other people around you. So congratulations to you and to your family. And I really do love your story, and make sure that your family knows that, because I think it's really important. I really do. I always think of everybody's struggle, and I think that's a good thing to have, man.
It was a challenge, trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure it was,
It was a challenge.
I'm sure it was. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you.
And I too would like to comment on your growth within the department. I think all of us like to see when people started, and both of you started kind of at the bottom, and you move your way up. And so that's also very important to us, that we give you the opportunity for the growth, but without the dedication that you've shown and strived for that, you wouldn't have been able to accomplish what you have. And so we really like to see that. We like to see the upward mobility within our department of our employees moving up the ladder. So I'm really happy for you, and thank you for your hard work out there. I know it's not an easy job, but like the rest of the council said, you're the one that keeps an eye on the streets and all. And so congratulations, and hope you stick around for at least another 10 years or more. Thank you.
All right, very good. Well, congratulations, Bobby. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
One more round of applause.
Leslie went to Hidalgo School.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
So did I.
You should have opened up with that. Huh?
So did I.
Congratulations.
Good people from Hidalgo School.
Bye, Bobby.
Well, good afternoon. That's a tough act to follow.
Yeah, right?
It is.
Honorable Mayor and members of City Council, it's my pleasure to stand here before you today and introduce yet another new member of our fine police department and law enforcement community, as well as the EMS service, because he's working and wearing both hats in his new position. Mr. Ruben Villarreal is a native of Brawley, raised here in Brawley, graduated from Brawley High School, attended the Imperial Valley College, went on to the Calexico branch of San Diego State University, where he obtained his bachelor's degree. He's been a Brawley boy true and true, and he's a much welcomed addition to our dispatch community here at the Brawley Police Department. I can promise you, Interim Chief York, that he's going to make your people proud as well. He's done an amazing job so far. He resides here in Brawley with his wife, San Juana, and his lovely daughter, Isabella, who's 1 year old. I had the pleasure of meeting his wife and his family and his parents at the swearing in. And we have a lot of things in store for him and very high hopes. But without further ado, I think he has a few words he'd like to share with you as well. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, I just want to give you, thank you guys for the opportunity. Like Chief said, I've been born and raised here in Brawley. I had the opportunity to serve the community when I worked at the fire department as an on-call firefighter from 2003 to 2007. I'm proud to be from Brawley, and I'm proud to be serving my community again. Thank you.
Right.
Fantastic. Ruben, I'll lead off with, you also look like you can enforce the law, not just dispatch the law. So pleasure having you, and just again, another great story, the talent that we have within our city limits. So fantastic, congratulations. Obviously, you're on the front line, a very demanding position, and arguably one of the most difficult. Actually, again, another 24/7 critical thinking. And the type of things that you have to do. So it speaks very highly, again, to step up and serve your community in this way. Very proud to have you on board, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Council?
Welcome aboard, Ruben, and I was honored to be here for your swearing in. And as I said there, the dispatch job is very important because it's kind of the first, it's the first bit of communication that a lot of residents have with the police department or with the fire department, is when they call 911 and they're at their worst at that point. And it's just a very touchy and important job, and I'm glad to have you on board, and my prayers are with you for the difficult job that you have. So welcome on board.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service to Brawley. It's always nice to see somebody from Brawley succeed and do what they need to do, get their education, come back and serve the city. It's always a great thing. We look forward to working with you as a dispatcher there at the police department. I'm sure you have other maybe aspirations too. That would be great. And so congratulations on the job, and we know it's a very important job for the city of Brawley, for both for law enforcement, for fire, and public safety. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Villarreal, I'll just echo those comments from fellow council members. Congratulations. And I love, again, hearing people's stories. Like, you started out doing on-call firefighter work here, and then now you've advanced your education, and now you're advancing your career and moving on. So congratulations to you, your family, your 1 year old. And, it's an exciting time in your life, I'm sure. So, just keep up that momentum. And I know it's a stressful job, but enjoy it. Great people that work here in the city of Brawley, and you've been here, I think, all your life or most of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of your life. All of your, yeah. So, you know Brawley well, and you know the people well. So, congratulations, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I too would like to congratulate you and welcome you aboard. And again, it's a critical position. And I think with your background and you understand the importance of that particular job. And again, welcome. And we know you're going to be a great asset to our city of Brawley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. One more round of applause for Mr. Villarreal. Thank you, Chief. Like we have one more introduction.
Honorable Mayor Shirley Bonilla's Personnel and Risk Management. I have the pleasure, because Marge was on vacation, to introduce to you Mr. Ruben Rivera. He's an Imperial Valley native. and I take great pride when I say a former Marine, recently received his bachelor's degree in English and history. His passion is to give back to his community, and he does this. He's a docent at the Pioneers Museum, giving young people tours, and then he also works with youth sports. Ruben joined the City of Brawley on August 13th, and he's the LAMS program driver/clerk. Please welcome Mr. Rivera.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and residents at large. I appreciate this appointment. I'm flabbergasted by this opportunity. I hope not to serve not just the council, but the residents and the next generation of constituents, and maybe a council member or two as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
Super. Well, Ruben, congratulations. And you get the distinction of actually getting out and touching many communities in this role. So congratulations on that. And also thank you for your service, to the country. Without that introduction, I was kind of guessing on the hairdo. But, still dedicated to the cause. But that's fantastic. Congratulations, Council.
Yeah, welcome on board. Thank you for stepping up and taking over that position. It's an important position. I will tell you, that bus is hard to get going sideways unless it's rainy. So you have to hit the throttle if you want to do that. But I appreciate your heart for the youth, and they are the next generation of voters, of community members who have to step up and do the things that are being done right now by the adults. And so it's so important to have mentors that that make an impression on young people, that give them something to shoot for, some motivation. So thank you for your service to the country. Thank you for your service to our city as well. Welcome on board.
Congratulations. Very important. LAMS is out there. It's very visible. People in the community know it, and other communities within the valley also. And LAMS is critically important because it helps the youth, primarily of our region, and that's very, very important. And they learn a lot from being there and having access to those educational materials and everything that you deliver. So it's a very important position, and we look forward to seeing LAMS out there for many years to come. And so congratulations on that, and congratulations on being out there. I also love history, so I can connect in that way. It's just very, very important. We look forward to having you out there and taking charge of that LAMS bus.
Yes, sir. Sam does love history, that is for sure.
I do.
But just don't let him drive the bus.
Yeah, don't let him. No, I don't drive
No,
buses.
really, I mean, LAMS, I've seen it out in the field, out in action, and I'll tell you, you make an impression on kids' lives, and that's really important. So, just remember that always, that you'll always make an impression on somebody, and I think that's an important role to fill. And, sometimes we wonder what difference we're making in the lives of people. You're going to see it, and so if you haven't already. But congratulations on your new role, and I wish you well. But thank you, of course, for serving our country. But, everything else that you're working on as well. Congratulations to you. It's a big role to fill, and I'm just happy that you're out there putting your talents and your background in history and literature. Was it literature? English, okay, English, to use. So congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm last, so it's kind of hard to follow because they've already covered everything, but I too would like to congratulate you, and you're a great person for that particular position. When I saw that the position was vacant, I was thinking, gosh, I hope we find the right person. I think we definitely found the right person for that job, and with your sharing of what you do with the kids right now, and then your background and your education, I think you're a perfect person for that particular job, and I think you're going to be great. And the whole Imperial County is headquartered. We're lucky to have the LAMS here in Brawley, and but everybody in the community here and in the valley knows about it, and I think you're going to get big rewards, and our kids are going to get rewarded also. Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. I hope you guys like my lamps. Are getting fitted for the lamps. I got my suit to go with
Oh,
it.
really?
We're going to have to check that out. Hey, let us know when that happens.
Thank you.
Very good. Appreciate that. Very encouraging. Our city's remains in great hands. I will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 2, our consent agenda. These items are to be approved in one motion. City council members and members of the public may request consent items to be considered separately or at a different time determined by the mayor. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent as written.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll move to our regular business. Item 3. 3A is discussion and potential action to approve a public convenience and necessity determination for Los Cabos Seafood located at 132 South Plaza Street, backup materials 92 to 94.
Mayor Wharton, I prepared this item for council's action this evening. I did have regrets forwarded to me by Mr. Luetta, who is the business operator. He was held up in traffic trying to get back across the hill and won't be joining us here today. This business has plans very actively underway for 132 South Plaza Street, and their request from the Alcohol and Beverage Control is to gain a license for beer and wine at the location. They are seeking this Type 41 license for on-premises sale and consumption. I did have an opportunity to confer with the police department, inquire of any concerns. None are present at this time. And before the council today is a potential action to approve public.
Fantastic. Thank you, Roseanne. I think there's some excitement around this. Under the council, is there any?
I would just make the motion to find that the sale and consumption of beer and wine, this location will provide for the convenient patronage of the public, whereby that convenience does not adequately exist in the immediate area and it meets the need of the community. So I would make a motion to approve the item.
Good. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. I'll add one more comment. I think it's been the consistent use of that. Also, this is an established, known business already in the county, and as a matter of business, also pretty important, maybe even essential business component to this type of business. So looking forward to it. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, so is that a nay or an abstention? Okay,
Nay.
Got a nay vote. And look, our city clerk got that. All right, we'll move to the next item. Regular business item 3B, discussion of potential action to approve the Brawley Chamber of Commerce request to sell and consume alcohol at the 2019 Cattle Call events. And the backup materials are also on pages 95 through 99.
Mayor Wharton, I'll be presenting this item in Ms. Mello's absence. This lineup includes our signature events, Cattle Call. They are scheduled for November 2nd, November 6th, and November 9th. They're primarily located on Main Street and North and South Plaza Park. In order for an organization to have the right to do these temporary sales, ordinance requires that the city council act to approve or deny such request. This is an annual request that comes forward before the body, and we look forward to your feedback here this evening.
Open this up for discussion.
Make a motion to approve the item.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And no abstentions. Motion carries. Go to the next item, item 3C. This will be discussion and potential action to approve Chelsea Investments' request to assess Tier 3 development, impact fees, and Tier 4 water and sewer capacity fees for La Serenita Apartments at 1598 C Street in Adams Park. Backup materials 100 to 110.
Mayor Wharton, included beginning on page 100 is a staff report of Phase 2 of the Chelsea Investment Corporation's project on C Street. You may recall when this item for Phase 1 previously came to the body, there were some questions about the timing of the elevated rates to be applied and when the city would ever realize them. Based on that feedback, the developer has defined a period that's actually earlier than the last action taken by the body. You'll see in the financing plan, included in the backup, there's a 55-year covenant associated with the affordability requirements for residents. And what the developer is requesting to assist with making their application competitive is for the city to consider imposing the full fees that are part of the water and sewer capacity fee justification study and the development impact fee justification study. And what they're proposing to do is pay the rates that are currently in effect at the time they pull building permits for the 60-unit development, but that difference between the fully burdened rate and the actual assessed gets paid over time from residual receipts. Eventually, this will be captured in a fee deferral loan. Those documents would come to the body at a later date. At this time, Chelsea is asking that the council consider the assessment and making a pledge in writing to pursue this arrangement so that when they submit their application in early September, they can propose as part of their project description that approach.
And they've made this request in the past, and we've moved forward with the same request.
Correct.
And if there's no questions, I'll just make a motion to approve the item. It's based on the city manager's recommendation and based on past practice, so I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion second, or we call for the question. Any questions, any further discussion from members of the council? Seeing none, and we'll move forward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Shuffle. Work here. All right, that'll take us to item D on the regular business, discussion of potential action to approve a letter of support for Senate Bill 558, Commission on California-Mexico Affairs, as requested by the Mayor Pro Tem, Norma Kastner-Howdiggy, backup material on pages 111 through 112. Assuming maybe our Mayor Pro Tem would like to frame this up.
Well, I believe that possibly all of us might have received an email regarding this, and they were seeking support from both Senator Ben Wessel's office and Assemblymember Garcia's office, and wanted to know if we as a council would be in support, and if they didn't get a response from the full council, they wanted to know if any individual council members would be in support. I did respond that I would be in support and that I would bring this to the full council at our next agendized meeting. So that's why it's on our agenda for today. But my letter of support was submitted already.
Council?
I think
Questions, comments?
Did I?
No, not on this
It's
one.
Norma
Okay.
and I, right?
I don't think if your two were submitted, that they were submitted, they must have been submitted directly, because I didn't
Okay.
assist in preparation.
Maybe I didn't.
Sam did.
I did some kind of letter. We did submit some.
Right, that was on the
That
League of
was on
Cities resolution.
League of Cities resolution.
For binational relations related to
Was
the
it on the same
rivers.
topic?
No, different topic.
Different
Oh, okay.
topic.
I think that
Okay.
was where the
You
confusion was.
might have been the only one.
Okay, but anyway, it's a related topic. This particular commission covers different California and Mexico affairs, and one of them is the addressing of the pollution of the state waters, Juana River and Calexico River, and all of the other areas are covered on this particular handout. So I am in support of it and wanted to see if the rest of the council would support it, submit a letter.
So just for clarification, there's been individual council or your letter of support, but are we looking for a council-wide on behalf of the
Actually, I
city?
think, I'm sorry, actually, for clarification purposes, I guess the other letter was a different support letter that was sent to
The
League of
California
Cities.
League of Cities.
That was to the League of Cities. Sorry for the confusion.
The only issue that I raise on each of these is I want to be very sure that when we approve these types of things, that they don't have a detrimental effect to us further on down the line. Because a lot of times what can happen is that sometimes San Diego's interests are not ours. And I think in this case, most of them are related to us, maybe on a smaller scale, but they're still there. I always like to be cautious about approval on items like this because of its effect on our agriculture here in Imperial Valley and our usage of water. So I kind of like to take a look at this. I don't see anything in this one that jumps out at me as an issue. On the other one, I had some concerns regarding the rivers, New River and the Tijuana River, I think specifically, and how that and how pollution in those rivers might impact both our farming or our ability of farmers to farm and the overall pollution control there. As long as this is an international thing, as long as we're talking about Mexico and the United States, air quality, those types of things, certainly we have that issue down here. So I don't necessarily see any problem with supporting this. I always like to be careful about those things, though, because 10 years down the line, this commission could be a problem. And so that's what I always want to be careful of. I don't see it on this one, so I'm in support of it, but I just want us all to be cognizant of the ability of these things to kind of sometimes get out of hand.
What's the timing on this? Because I know we're out of session, but is this, do we have an opportunity at the next meeting?
We can
For a little more
continue.
background?
Yes,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm,
Happy to.
and I'm not echoing anyone other than just my own. This is obviously the white sheet coming from the actual representative that dropped the bill. So I just like to do a little bit more background on that, including, what kind of bipartisan support and where it stands right now. So if council is amenable to that, just could be an item that we bring back. I don't know if there's any other comment. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. We'll move to item 4 on the agenda, which is a public hearing. 4A is an annual review of the city's Brawley user utility tax. And with that, prior to officially opening, is there a bring up? All right, very good. We'll have our finance director.
Honorable Mayor, City Council members, Tyler Salcido, Finance Director, City of Brawley. We're meeting here today to convene a public hearing for the annual review of the City of Brawley utility user tax. The purpose of the utility user tax is to raise revenues for the general governmental purposes of the city. All the proceeds from the UUT are placed into the general's fund of the cities. The tax is levied on the utility services of telephone, electricity, gas, water, sewer, trash, and cable television. The current tax rate for the imposed on the utilities is 4%. The revenues generated from this tax help fund and maintain the city's public services included, but not limited to police, fire, administration, library, and parks and rec. On November 8th of 2017, the UUT was extended by the voters of the City of Brawley with a current expiration date of May 31st, 2023. The utility users' tax revenue for the fiscal year 17-18 came in at $1,814,000. Pending any final audit adjustments, but that should be right where it comes in at. For the fiscal year 2018-19, the general fund budget was estimated at $1,786,000, and the year-end projection for 18-19 is at $1,946,000. Currently, in the FY 19-20 working draft general fund budget, we're estimating $1,880,000 of revenue for the utility user tax for fiscal year 19-20. Are there any questions from the public or council members?
We're not in we haven't opened up yet, so at this time, would we open up the public hearing? Okay, I'm just always looking at our city attorney, so thank you for that, for Salcido. We will open up the public hearing. Any members of the public that'd like to come up? Questions, comments for the record? Looking at the rush of the crowd, so I am going
Everybody's
to,
lining up.
at this time, we will move forward and we will close the public hearing. So with that, we'll bring it back to Council, any questions while we have Salcido here on the
I got it.
utility
One question.
user
You
tax?
said it's up in 2023,
Yes.
and so,
Expires in 2023.
but it's before the election. It's before the election period in 2023, and that's why we have to address it in.
So historically, the city has tried to preserve 2 chances to get it renewed. And now that we're only even-yeared elections, the first chance, if the council
2020.
opted and acted to do so, would be to place it on the 2020 ballot. And then if it failed, the 2022 would be available for the, because the tax has to be considered at the same time as a local municipal election.
Okay. The fluctuation of 100,000 or more from year to year is based simply on utilities being used.
It actually has increased year over year from 15, I only went back as far as 15, 16 and looked at it, to current. Every year it gradually increased a little bit more. But some factors that are in those increases were water and sewer rates have increased every year. We cannot increase the rates anymore until the water rate study is done, so that won't be in the picture for the next year. Also, if you look at just last year's, let's see, it's 17-18 to 18-19, the big increase, it jumped to $132,000 for that 1 year. But if you break it down, the IID increase was 178 of that. So, and all the others decreased by about $45,000 to $50,000. And that trend is going to continue with people using less cable, landlines. I have neither, for example. So for the budget, I built in growth, but not the trend from last year due to those major factors.
Probably.
And you're projecting 1.8?
1.88, so $1,880,000. It's a conservative, hopefully.
Yeah.
Good. Very good.
Very
Any
good.
other questions, comments from council? So it looks like at this point, we've conducted that public hearing and review. If there's no further questions, thank you to our finance director.
Thank you.
We'll move back to our next item, which will be item 5, informational reports. 5A is record of building permits for June and July 2019 in the city of Brawley, prepared by Oscar Escalante, interim building official. That is in our council packet, pages 114, 117. Move to our next item, item 6, departmental reports, Personnel and Risk Management Department, monthly staffing report. Ms. Shirley Bonias.
Honorable Mayor, Council Member Shirley Bonias, Personnel and Risk Management on page, I don't have the page number, I'm sorry. On page 118 is the report. As you can see, we're down 4 police officers. It's my understanding, Chief, that we have 1 in backgrounds. 1 in backgrounds. I have 3 applications in hand. We're waiting for a couple more before we have interviews. I guess you met our new dispatcher, but a few days after he started, we lost another dispatcher. So we are currently recruiting, had interviews today. We had the part-time dispatcher position already open, so we had those recruitments, and we had 2 successful candidates pass out of that, and hopefully we can also consider them for the full-time. I also opened it as precaution to get more applications. So we are trying to keep up on the dispatchers. As you can see, Public Works, our 2 largest departments are having recruitments. So we are recruiting right now for 8 permanent positions, and 1 library position is the library page. And of course, I'll always answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Very good. Any questions for Shirley? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For the report. Next item on departmental reports, item B, update for emergency construction at the Brawley Water Treatment Plant, as well as the traffic signal at Cesar Chavez.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Guillermo Sillas again, Public Works Director. I have to inform that the emergency continue on the plant, on the water treatment plant, and currently the contractor is expecting to receive very soon the shop drawings from the manufacturer. Once they receive those, they will go to the field to verify the measurements and be able to order the parts for installation after the summer season, which is about October. So it's when they will be rehabilitating the first pond and then testing and later on continue with the second one. If you have any comments or questions regarding the plant, the new chief is here with us, so he's more qualified than me to answer any questions that you might have on the operation of the plant.
Good. Seeing none, we'll go to the next slide.
Okay, the next one is the traffic signal at Main Street and Cesar Chavez. As you might recall, previously I informed that we were on negotiations and we were able to secure a company to perform the job, and in the meantime install the replacement for rental, a temporary replacement. Yesterday they were here doing that job, and they found the problem that caused the short circuit and damaged the cabinet, and it was the wiring on the pedestrian signals. And some people noticed that they put it back to work temporarily, but they said that to be able to keep it like that, the pedestrian signal should be disabled. So in other words, it will be working for vehicles, but not for pedestrians. So we decided not to do it, not to leave it like that. So they put it back on flashing mode, and they will come back on Tuesday next week or Wednesday to do the rewiring of that other elements to be able to install the full system, and at the same time eliminate the potential risk of failure in the future when they install the new one. So we will continue, unfortunately, on that until next week.
Question, if I could ask it. You know, we've used stop signals there for so long. Do we need traffic signals at that location?
That's a very good question that is difficult to answer without an analysis when a study, a traffic study, because new developments, new commercial, and the situation right now is not the same as probably 20 or 30 years when that signal was installed. But and a further analysis will need to be performed to be able to say that if it's still a valid signal or can be another alternative.
Thank you.
It seems to me that people think that's a very important signal, but for me, coming up there and just stopping and moving isn't as critical. I guess it can be when there's a lot of traffic, though, and I guess that's what people get concerned with. It. Extreme traffic times, they tend to get a little bit more back. You have to kind of be graceful, and a lot of people aren't graceful when they drive. So that's one of the things that happens when you don't have a traffic signal that's there. I think to me, people were very concerned about that traffic signal for some reason, more than they are when Main Street even goes out, down at Four Corners. And so I guess we have to look at that, but I think you probably made the right decision in terms of not starting it because then you run the risk of pedestrians being injured. That could be a problem there. So I think that was a good move. And I don't know, I think it's important that we fix it, but I'm not so sure that it's not quicker to move traffic through it most times of the day just by having it be a stop signal like you said.
You were in front of me. I had to honk.
Yeah, I know, because I try to be really respectful of everybody's wishes.
You're very graceful.
Graceful. I'm graceful. That's it. Graceful. That's what I would call it. But it seems to be a big key issue with everybody. That's what I get asked about all the time as a council member, is that signal.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's been kind of interesting to me also because even just on social media, people are asking what's up with that signal light? Why hasn't it been fixed? And what's the city of Brawley doing about it? And this kind of stuff. So I've been getting a lot of questions about it. So obviously people feel that there's a need for it. I do drive through there sometimes, and I do notice the same thing, that I'll stop, but some people either they're busy or they're doing something, not paying attention, and they'll start driving into the intersection when they're not supposed to. And sometimes you do have 4 vehicles, in each corner. So just based on the social media and just the community feedback, it seems like it's something that people are anxiously waiting to get fixed.
Right. Yes.
So we can tell them maybe a couple of weeks?
I would say so. It just depends, as I mentioned before, once they were removing the existing cabinet, they found something that failed. So who knows what is going to happen when they remove totally and they started pulling wires from a very old infrastructure. Hopefully they will be able, looks like they are super capable because they were able to identify something that previous contractors couldn't. So, but hopefully they will be able to put it back to work next week.
So, but Guillermo's not giving it the green light just yet.
No, I wouldn't say to people that we have it fixed.
Remember, this feature that's going to go in is the loaner, and then we have a
Oh, that's
long
right.
lead time on the permanent cabinet.
That's right, okay.
I think it remains to be seen how bad traffic can get there until a dune season or
Yeah,
heavy
that's-
holiday, when it may back way up to the railroad tracks or whatever with trailers and everything. And as you said on social media, it seems like half the people say we don't need a traffic signal there. Let's just put a four-way stop. And the other half the people feel like we're moving backwards. We're regressing instead of progressing if we get rid of a honest to goodness traffic signal. So moving forward is probably the right thing to do on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guillermo, just as a learning, so we don't, history doesn't repeat itself, is there some assessment we can do? Obviously, when you start actually inventorying the number of signals we do have, is there anything within that vintage where this could potentially happen again? I know it's all possible, but
Right. Well, currently we have an agreement with the City of El Centro division of, which is not a big one, and they provide services to the county and other cities. So when we had this problem, so we called them, and they have their limitation, of course, because it's not a big department on traffic. And so it's something that we probably can explore to maybe enter into an agreement with a company like this one. Maybe they won't be able to respond in 24 hours because they are not at that short distance, but they have all the equipment and the crew to be able to respond, and with the expertise where others say is a challenge. So maybe we can explore that alternative to hire somebody as an on-call, like a company like this one.
thank you. Any other questions from council on that? Thank you for the report. Guillermo, with that, we will move to the next item, item 7, City Council Member Reports. We'll begin with Councilmember Ham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a lot to report this evening. It's been kind of a quiet month, and it's been a very hot month as well. Tried to get out of town to cooler places, but hasn't worked out in my favor too often. I was able to attend the swearing in for the new dispatcher, Ruben Villarreal, and say a few words there. And I also got to attend the AT&T made some donations to a few charitable organizations here in the Valley, and that was hosted by House of Bread Ministries here in Brawley. And so I was able to attend that and speak a little bit there, and that was a nice little event, and good to see some large corporations trying to give back a little bit to some of the small organizations that are trying to make a difference locally for food security. I just wanted to clarify a point as regards to the Los Cabos Seafood and my no vote on the alcohol license. It was educational for me to look at the statistics for alcohol licenses in California in cities of similar size to Brawley, and we are actually only in 4th place as far as alcohol licenses, residents per alcohol license. There's only 3 cities in front of us that have more licenses, and so as regards convenience and necessity, obviously we have Inferno nearby there, and with the same offerings, and of course I think it's likely that it will probably pull some of that business away from Inferno, but as the point was made before, that was available in that storefront in the past, not always, but most recently. Anyway, I just want to clarify my no vote is not to discount what Los Cabos is hopefully going to be able to do there in the way of business and providing good food for the community. But I do just want to point out that that we are only fourth as far as cities our size in the state of California for alcohol license levels. And so I do not feel like it's a necessity and not necessarily a convenience more than Inferno is there. I just want to clarify that, and that's it for my report.
Thank you for your opinion, Councilmember Hamby. We'll go to Councilmember Couchman.
I don't have a whole lot to report. August has been pretty quiet. I was out of town on vacation after our last meeting, so I've been in town. I've seen some things. I do want to commend roads for the work on the broken pipe and the public works for getting over there, and I think they've been cleaning that up for the last few days anyway, and it was a major undertaking, because when I came back into town, there was mud everywhere, including on K Street from Allen all the way over to K and all over the place. And so I commend them on the work they've been doing over there, and I think getting that cleaned up and getting all that fixed up. And other than that, I mean, I've seen city workers out there. They're working in extreme heat, and those are just some of the things that we've been experiencing here. But I think overall, the school's back in session, and so I do expect there to be a lot more activity here in the September timeframe. Dove season is coming up, and there's a few other things that are going on, and so I think we'll see a lot of activity and things for the coming months. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to report.
Thank you, Councilmember Couchman. Councilmember Nava.
Let's see. I've received a few complaints on different items throughout the city. I want to thank our city manager, Rosanna, for helping through some of those issues, and Republic Services as well. But I did get a complaint regarding the housing development off of Best, and I think there may be some things in motion in the near future, but at least enforcement of some of the concerns we have out there. There's still a lot of vandalism out there, and it's just a tremendous eyesore, so it's something that we could look at. I would certainly appreciate that. Also participated at a executive committee meeting for IVDC on the city's behalf today, and there's the hemp conference that's taking place here soon, and they're going to be talking about the hemp industry and the county and how they're affiliated, at least locally, with Institute of Higher Learning, and that is IVC. So I think there's something to learn from that industry, and we'll see how the industry develops in the Imperial County, or whether it does develop in the Imperial County. It's yet to be seen. It's in the growing phase now. In fact, Steve Benson's, I believe he's growing it, because he had a sample of hemp that he brought in, and I'll tell you, it's a big plant and it's stinky. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah. Yeah, they are.
They do
really.
smell.
Yeah. I was like, get it away from me. I am going to Mexicali, and I do not want to get pulled over with that smell. So I'm not going to go into secondary because of you, brother. If I'm getting arrested, it's for something I did.
Your car.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been relatively quiet because we've been dark for most of the month, but look forward to ramping things back up in September. And I'll let our mayor, Donnie Wharton, talk about it a little bit. But we're working on a project plan for an event here in downtown Brawley. It's getting very close to the time, and I think we're going to run out of time if we don't hurry up and do something. But it's working in conjunction with our friends out in Glamis and that industry, and bring it back into Brawley. So I'm hoping that takes place mid-October, and I'll let them finish up on that. But
absolutely.
My report.
Yep. No, thank you, Councilmember Nava. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, well, I felt like I got out of the city of Brawley in the valley, but I guess I went back and forth because I managed to attend quite a few events that were happening at the same time. So I did attend a presentation by Assemblymember Garcia that was presented to our local Comité Cívico. It was in regards to the passage of Assembly Bill 743, which basically allowed for asthma medication to be given at our schools. Apparently there was a law that didn't allow it, or the prescriptions were given in Mexico. So with the passage of this assembly bill, the kids can have their medication at school. So that was an important bill. And then I also attended, actually Assemblymember Garcia was in the Valley quite a bit, or in Raleigh too. He also presented a small business of the year award to the Town Pump out in Westmoreland. And so I was able to attend that also. They were very happy to be recognized for that, the Rebel Yards, who also own Brownies. So that was a very nice presentation and recognition. And then I was able to attend a roundtable on the Parks Bill. They basically talked about the grants that are available for the whole state of California, but there were representatives from Sacramento that were there, and our grant writer, Marja, was there. And I attended just to get information on what type of money is available for accessing and improving our parks here in Brawley. So that was an interesting event or presentation to attend. I wasn't in town for the Real Vintage ribbon cutting, but I did go out there to visit. It's a new business out on 8th Street, across the street from the fire department. So if you have an opportunity to go out there, she has some very nice, all kinds of different things to furnish your homes and antiques and such. Very talented lady. So I went out there and introduced myself and told her that we're here to help her. So again, she said I was really pleasantly surprised because of the month of July and August being as hot as it is. But she said she's had a lot of traffic, and she's doing really well in her business. So I was real happy to hear that. And then I also attended another meeting, but Rosanna will be covering that regarding our census. So that was it. And in betwixt, I drove back and forth over the mountains to San Diego.
Cool down. Very good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And keeping mine short, I know we've been dark up until now, but been investing actually quite a bit of time on an upcoming, I think Councilmember Couchman mentioned the upcoming dove hunt, opening dove. Been working with a group to help facilitate the Wounded Warriors who've been coming here for a number of years now. In more or less an all-expense paid experience to come out and enjoy opening dove. I think approximately 40. This has also been opened up to Gold Star families that will also be part of this this event coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. Helping to put the funds together to put approximately, I think it's 18 rooms at the Days Inn here in Brawley. So this thing's really primarily based out of Brawley. The dinner, I think, will be hosted at the Elks Lodge. So again, another great event, specifically focused on those that have, have not only given to our country, but in some cases have literally given, a portion of their body to the country in their service. So looking forward to that. Also with that, playing host to also some outside dignitaries that I've gotten to know. Former mayor of Vista, former deputy mayor of Oceanside, that also come down and enjoy the hunt. I'm always proud of this event just because, again, it's one more economic impact sort of event that happens every year, sometimes unnoticed, and I think on council it's great to acknowledge that because it impacts all our businesses, generally speaking, down here. With that, that's the segue to, it's going to be a push. Time's going to be of the essence, but I'm challenging council and staff. As aggressive as between George and I can work. We have talked about this for years, hence we've kind of formed that sort of the unofficial subcommittee many years ago about attempting to bring a pre-season, pre-off-road event downtown. I think we're poised to do this. We're targeting a weekend in October that will precede the big Polaris event that happens every year out in Glamis. I bring this up every year because it attracts tens of thousands of people. And actually, if you look at aggregate of all those that come from outside the valley to enjoy the dunes, we really are the gateway community for that. I know we have many businesses, once again, that depend on that every year for that seasonal impact, including we're talking about our traffic signals, things like that. So on a positive note, I think if we can not only embrace that, promote that for our local audience, to really encourage families, because it's a fun family event. And if we can do something downtown that helps to promote that and perhaps bring families that otherwise wouldn't even make the trip out to Glamis to see what's going on out there, but to enjoy it here in town, maybe a product promotion, vendors, some demonstration events. And again, this doesn't have to be necessarily the largest scale event in the world, but it could be a start of something that I think we really should embrace. And in my opinion, we're taking advantage of what's potentially up to 1 million visitors that, and actually at one point it was 1.2 million visitors, but even if that's been scaled down, it's still over 1 million visitors annually that come to enjoy all the off-road, and that includes the west side of the county. But I think it behoove us to really be identified as the city that really has embraced that world, and I think there's a lot of positive economic impact there.
Like,
So
like the gateway to Glamis, type of thing, and having like a show and shine, with razors out there, some vendors, of course, and it's going to be great. I'm glad we talked about it because now we have to do it, but it's one of those things.
We've started some initial discussions to get obviously the private sector sponsorship, but the one I'll point out to everybody listening, including the public, and that's Polaris is a multinational global company. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they've really invested out in what's basically county jurisdiction out there. But when they host these events, they have a commitment to support the city of Brawley, and these have been with direct discussions I've had over a number of years. So what does that support look like? I think this is kind of the sky's the limit. So we've got to start somewhere. So this is not going to happen just because whether it's limited to George, myself, or a handful of volunteers, it's really going to take a concerted effort, I think, on the city's part to see what that looks like. So if it's, again, I know with budget constraints, we're really not looking at this per se as total dollars from the city. If we can get the support from private sector and we can move forward and put on a fun event. Again, it doesn't have to be the biggest event in the world, but I think it's a start of something. That's what we're looking at. So I just wanted to make that plea and that little bit of a warning. But discussions must ensue. There was no discussion to be had we not had some of the initial groundwork discussions. So looking forward to getting together with staff and see what that looks like and see what we can do, potentially. So fingers crossed there that we can advance that. Other than that, just, business as usual. I got to mention, you were mentioning the hemp summit. I was invited to go visit the new March and Ash that opened up down in Imperial. So I did get a firsthand tour by the owners. And I think I've been pretty public about where I stand on the particular topic. And I still say with that, I expressed those concerns with the new owners there. It's an impressive facility. There's no question. There's a big investment there. And it's even had some positive impacts to even some of our local Brawley businesses that have provided some of the improvement services there. But with that said, I'm just saying, stating for the record that I did go there, and it is their intent to perhaps engage council sometime here in the future. But with that, I'll move on to our next item.
Can I just add one thing that reminded me of something? There are delivery services in the city of Brawley, and we don't benefit from that at all as far as like any sort of tax revenue. I'm not sure that's even a possibility, but if you go on and look up, delivery services of cannabis, they're out there and they're in Brawley. Not only delivering in Brawley, but they're in Brawley. So that's one thing that, it just goes unnoticed. And, I think we need to look at that closely too. If they're already operating here, we need to see what we can do to either find a way to tax that or see what we can do to benefit us. It's going to happen. It's already happening. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, in prior dialogue with the city attorney and with the League of Cities, the mobile delivery service, it's virtually impossible to stop the activity in our city limits, even if our local ordinances prohibit a storefront. So, I think the point.
They're based out of here, though. So that's the other thing, If you go on Weed Finder, whatever it is, they're there. So
there's actually an app where you can track. There's a lot of illicit, shouldn't say illicit, but maybe non-compliant delivery systems that are not only all throughout the valley, but I think all throughout the state of California. So the proliferation of those, that kind of business is going up, which begs, actually opens up some other questions, about the industry itself. So anyways, didn't mean to go there, but I thought it was fair to share that I did make that visit a little bit earlier this month. With that, I guess segue to the city manager for the city manager report.
As a brief update, did convene the first kickoff meeting of the Brawley Complete Count Committee. Because of it being August, I think the turnout probably wasn't as strong as hoped. Invitations were extended to Brawley Elementary School District, the high school district, Clínicas, Pioneers, Comité Cívico, and
Vecinos Unidos.
Campesinos Unidos, and a couple of others. The state and federal representatives who are heading up the complete count efforts and outreach. We had a small but mighty group with a lot of ideas and a lot of willingness shared to use mechanisms already in place in the organizations for those that are public entities to push out messaging. So I think we do have a lot of willingness on the part of our partners. Things like electronic message boards, the robocalling. There's I think a really good opportunity to integrate our communication strategies. So that was, I think, a major positive. Mayor Pro Tem Kastner Hattegi was able to join as well, and the second part of our committee meeting was really to revisit, along with our county representatives who were there, there's the current funding opportunity that breaks down funding based on population and hard-to-count census tracts. And so that opportunity is divided amongst incorporated and unincorporated, and then individual cities. Our city is eligible for approximately $11,000 to $12,000 in total. So some of the hope, because the deadlines are fast approaching, it's actually next Friday is the new deadline that's set. We were trying to encourage our nonprofit stakeholders or anybody that was at the table really to take a lead because of the staffing levels we have here. We're not sure that we can lead that effort. It was, I think, a very difficult, probably the most difficult part of the discussion because the sentiments expressed were that folks preferred for the city effort. We're still kicking around what potential there is. The monies cannot be used to pay staff. And so the notion of staffing kiosks with stipends, although they were originally pitched to the nonprofits in the discussions that have been going on regionally, they're not necessarily in favor of those arrangements because they feel like they're not a payment of minimum wage, nor are they a reflection of the effort that's required. It was apparent in speaking with the two nonprofits that both are applicants to a pot of funds available through United Way, and they are expecting to have answers to their current proposals by tomorrow. And once those answers are in hand, they may be better positioned to answer how they can help if there's some other funds available to support their effort. If there isn't a willingness, though, I think that leaves the question, and what I was hoping to hear from council is any feedback you might have on one of the strategies identified was to simply write an application for this with the city as the lead, where we obtain all the print materials, whether they're banners, postcards, any kind of campaign materials, for lack of a better word, that could be disseminated to stakeholders throughout our communities, whether it's the faith-based organization, nonprofit organizations, schools, or whatever, that we serve as a receptacle and hub for all that material to be acquired and then be the active disseminator, different tendrils throughout the organization. I'm not sure that exactly meant the intent that the county had for those funds, because really in a perfect world, it'd be those difficult to reach, which is basically a large portion of our population who may not pay attention to a postcard with a extended ID number unique to them that they have to enter into a website. It's basically getting one-on-one time with every one of those people and convincing them to log on to a computer and complete a census form. It's a very large undertaking.
Yeah,
So,
and they couldn't get kids to enroll. They couldn't get the.
well, yeah, that was a good
Very
indicator. But I
hard to get 'em.
think, you know, perhaps if all of us are singing the same song, using it as a campaign in anything that's done, whether it's a school-based event, that census is pushed. You know, one of the ideas we were talking about, mariachi night. If there's a banner hanging in the back every one of you counts, and just the constant pummeling of the message, I think, that's probably our best shot. Because expecting people to just make their way into our public library where there's a kiosk or anywhere else that's a public place, I think is going to be challenging. I want to give you a chance. I know you expressed some reservations about us taking the lead.
Well, and I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but for $12,000, that won't take you very far, and that doesn't pay for staff. I use it for staff. My concern is that if we are the lead, that will involve a lot of work and for a long period of time. And speaking for myself, my preference, and we're still hoping that one of these nonprofits apply for the funds and are willing to take the lead. And naturally, it's in our interest also for the city that we'd be willing to support these events and however we can, but prefer not to be the lead because we don't have the staff, and Rosanna would not be able to handle that on her own.
But if we don't apply and we leave the money on the table and there are no applicants, we basically lose the chance to augment the activity. So we're going to, I hope I could have the council's support to play it by ear. I think it'd be a shame to leave it in the pot and have a larger jurisdiction such as El Centro or Calexico swoop in and take the remainder of the funds, and then if we want to do anything, we don't even have the printed materials to advance our work.
Got it.
So we're kind of playing it by ear, I guess. If any of you have any further concerns or questions, definitely open to hearing it. What I expressed to the stakeholders there is, at the same time as that application deadline is us posting our next city council agenda. So I know I'm only going to have so much time available to work on it between Monday and Thursday. So, okay, so that's that one.
Thoughts? You wanted some direction.
I'd happily take it.
Leave it up to you to make the decision, but I will say I don't want us to get too involved because I don't think that's our role. I think that the role would be for a nonprofit to go out there and actually meet face-to-face or have a census event where they have people come in, they do different things with that. I do think as far as getting the material, I think we need to do that in some way, and maybe we can pass that on to a nonprofit at that time or somewhere close to that time. Because I think if we get the money, say, and we wanted to give it to a nonprofit, maybe we'd be able to do that and then convince one of them to take the reins on that.
Because it's kind of use it or lose it. If we don't take it, it's
well, I
right.
think we've
It's
got to
done.
take it.
So if we moved forward with that, and I was tracking you on the idea of us being maybe kind of the little bit of the hub, but maybe not ultimately the arms and the legs that kind of deliver on what needs to be done. But what's the accountability that goes with the 12,000? Are we expected?
We have to ensure that the strategies that'll be employed to get it in the hands of the ultimate, that it's going to happen. And right now, it's very hard for everybody to commit because they don't know. Now, there are ways, probably, church by church, special event by special event, school event by school event. I don't think that's impossible to accomplish. It's just a matter of the right people talking, between our organizations, but being sure that those materials are passed out at every single opportunity. It takes bandwidth, but I think it can be accomplished.
But my concern was if we are the lead, then it's kind of like we would be the coordinator. Yeah. We would have to have a full-time coordinator because all the people that were there that were represented, like the schools and the nonprofits and all, they're all willing to do their part. But as you know, these things don't work automatically. You still have to have a body that's going to be coordinating and saying what's happening. And that's what we don't have. That's my concern, that we don't have that.
Yeah, why doesn't somebody else take the lead? Maybe we can coordinate a massive press conference explaining, the true benefit of having one counted, that kind of thing. We can get all media involved, all those sorts of things. I think we can participate in that. But
We tried to get them to come forward, and they basically.
And they may, once they hear about whether or not they get the United Way Award, but I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm reluctant to do that. I think the only way that we would be able to do it is if we actually hired somebody to do this job, or we would have to reassign someone. We don't have anybody to reassign, as far as I'm concerned.
I just wanted to make sure everybody was looped in on that, because I think the outcome of the census matters to the city. Right. In the end, it affects all of us. It does, yes.
But on the other hand, the nonprofits that we're hoping will step up may feel like we don't really benefit from the ultimate outcome of this census count. It's the city that benefits, and so it's the city that needs to take the lead on it. I'm afraid that that's probably what the attitude is going to be ultimately. We'll help, but we don't want to be the lead because we're not the ones that ultimately benefit the most from it.
Well, it's not going to change their funding formulas.
Right.
Right? I mean, they're still working with the same skeletal.
But they might get additional funding.
Yes.
It can, and it can.
They're
Actually, a higher population count might hurt us for certain USDA financing. It's just there's good and bad. So.
And actually, there is additional funding available for the nonprofits.
For nonprofits.
Yes, for the city is just the 12,000, and what the county representative shared, Esperanza Golio shared that the city of Calexico decided that they weren't even going to pursue their allocation, which was 17,000.
They don't want
Said they couldn't do anything with it. So I mean, that just gives you an idea.
Just not enough.
Right.
Not enough to really be able to
anything
staff
with.
it. Well, I know that the upcoming 2020 election, there's 3 candidates that are going to have to be doing some neighborhood canvassing. You guys could take that opportunity to count, every person in every house.
Every house you go to.
As you do your door-to-door.
It's cold.
Yeah, thank you for that.
It's cold.
I think the window of time, though, that the period's going to be open for completing it online is limited, and the activities are limited to a particular. I think it was up. I'll look at my notes, but I think it was up to March, and then no more door knocking on the topic can be performed.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, boom, it's like.
It's an interesting
The
situation. Okay, so I'm going to go real quick. The last 2 items wanted to mention with the upcoming League of Cities conference in October. I don't know how many council members are registered. Typically, we do place an action item onto the agenda for you to consider either moving the Tuesday up or back. That regular, the third Tuesday of the month. So we'll bring that to the next meeting in case you want to change it, or we can leave it as is. And then lastly, wanted to note that the water breaks that occurred on Allen Street Sunday, Monday, staff is in the process of evaluating what we're going to do as a project approach. Currently, the repair of the water line only addressed the immediately affected segment. And because of the age of the infrastructure in that area, what it does is create pressure on the weaker elements. If you haven't had a chance to drive the area, you might do it when you're out and about because the precondition is severely affected. Yeah. And so our ability to restore it is going to be limited as well unless we're taking on a larger project. So what I have accepted as an invitation from our Public Works Director is to consider, at least for the work effort, determining what it would cost to do the water line segment replacement, a larger portion, and a street repair. It is not a scheduled project. It would be something we would have to fit in with other city priorities. But given the state of the street, really a patch isn't going to be acceptable because it's far beyond what we usually do to address damaged pavement. So it'll be coming to you in the near future, and I hope to share some information with you further at that time.
The problem on, I think it's 14th Street. The tenants have been evicted and the landlord started playing tag with the attorney, so I'm not sure how far along the thing to address, but at least the tenants the hoarder who was creating problems. Oh God, yeah, it's a classic, true hoarder.
Yeah, I got
The other thing, I had a chance to go to a training put on by the San Diego City Attorney's Office on the gun violence restraining order law. They are the lead agency that went out and gun violence nobody really knew how to do it, saying the city attorney figured out how to do it. Nobody's, Donnie, or pro-gun as I am, but some of the stories, some of the people they took guns away from, I would have taken them away too. And it sounds like a good thing, but happened. But there was a lot of guys from Brawley PD there, so really boots on the street type of a lot. The officers, they see the problem, and they're supposed to get in touch with their city attorney. And courts are mandated to have a program. I'm sure our court doesn't have it yet. Find out.
Thank you. Thank you, City Clerk.
Nothing to report. Just a reminder, the splash party Saturday, the Lion Center from 1 to 4. Just remember.
Flash party, very good. Go to item 11, we'll take a brief recess.